Hello beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mutombo and I am a Cameroon based YouTuber. I'm also an engineer, an illustrator, and so many other things, as you may tell if you watch my vlogs. So if you want to get to know me a bit more, be sure to check out the vlogs. But for now, I realized that it has been a while. It has been a minute since we did a Q&A on this channel. So I'm cozy, I'm on my couch. Without further ado, let us jump straight into the questions. I have tried to organize the questions in three main categories: personal life, work/YouTube, because believe it or not, I kind of consider YouTube to be work, and comparisons between South Africa and Cameroon. So let's just dive straight into the personal questions. The first question is from Shariri, and she asks, how was your Christmas? Do you open gifts with your entire family like in America? Well, my Christmas was very quiet. I was just home here in this very living room by myself. I particularly enjoyed that day because it was just a very quiet, go slow day. I don't remember, but I think I went to church and I just came back and spent the whole day by myself, and it was glorious. As for opening gifts with the entire family, yeah, we used to do that as children, but not anymore. Long story short, nah. Chioma asks, how is Vincent? He is doing quite well, thank you. And after this, there are so many other questions about Vincent, about Bay. And for those of you who are new here, Vincent is my fiance. Oh my gosh, or my bae, or my partner, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, your lady asks, was it your lady? Please let me know. How did you and Bae meet? Juditha asks, how did you meet Vincent and how long have you known each other? Berry also asks, how did you and Uncle Vince meet? We both went to boarding school, and the way it is with the Catholic schools in Bamenda, which is where we went to school, most of the students tend to know each other or know of each other. So because he went to a sister Catholic school, I just knew, of a Vincent, but I didn't know him personally. I had never met him, but I just knew of his existence, and vice versa. Fast forward to university, we started talking online through Facebook, but it was just very platonic, very cordial, and we finally met physically just by chance. He literally just bumped into me on the road here in Douala in 2015. We exchanged contacts and he would arrange meetings with me under the pretext of wanting to collect movies from me. Yeah, the rest is history. So for how long we've known each other, based on the story that I just told you guys, I'm going to consider how long we've known each other from the day we first met, 2015. So that's about 7 years, and we've been together for 6 years. Mercy asks, when is Uncle Vincent popping the question? You guys look cute together, and as a social media in-law, I will be glad to have him as my brother-in-law. Well, secondly, Mercy asks, do you plan on going back to South Africa? I mean, definitely. I have to visit South Africa. I have too many ties there. So yes, even though for the moment I don't have any specific project taking me back to South Africa, but I'll definitely like to go back and visit. Your lady asks, when is the wedding? Girl, when I tell you, I don't know. But rest assured, I'm going to document the planning process. Jules asks, what tips do you have for those in long distance relationships? We need to survive, so maybe I can speak on this. Communication, talk at least every day. Don't let things fester. Don't let problems, arguments, and anything that may come between you linger. Handle things as soon as possible. 3, don't give your partner any room for suspicion. Try to be as transparent as possible with your partner. The distance is hard enough. Don't add doubt into the mix, because... And my last point is just to try to not make the long distance portion of the relationship last for too long. At the end of the day, it's a relationship and you need to be together. I mean, obviously, if people are doing long distance, it's because they don't have a choice. It's not like they sit and just decide that they want their relationship to be long distance. But just try as much as possible to minimize the length of time that you spend apart. Because obviously for me, if you go like say 5 years without seeing your partner, there may not be any relationship to come back to. People grow and change a lot individually, talk less of doing that far from each other. By the time you get back together, you may not be able to recognize how the person has grown and evolved, and you may not be able to fit into each other's worlds. So yeah, that's not the most romantic answer, but I'm a realist. Yeah, YouTube has come out with this whole handle thing and I cannot recognize anybody's name anymore. So this lady asked, I'm so sorry because your name is not showing. This lady asked, please, how did you get to keep your relationship for this long, given that at some point the relationship was distant? What advice can you give to someone in a long distance relationship? I am so happy for you and congratulations once more. Thank you so very much. Okay, so I've already answered the long distance portion of this question, but in terms of, there's just the longevity of the relationship, like I mentioned earlier, we've been together for about 6 years. I would just say pride is not your friend. Okay, whether you're the man or the woman, you cannot let your ego rule your relationship. No. My second point is going to sound very cliche, but once God is at the center, if you are a God-fearing person and your partner is a God-fearing person, there are just certain things that they would not do. Because some people are actually wicked to their partners. I just feel like when you operate by a certain set of rules and a certain set of morals, and in this case, I'm referring to a Christ-like way of operating, there are just certain things that you would not do. At the end of the day, we're all human. Nobody's perfect and nobody expects you to be perfect. Neither should you expect anybody to be perfect. But I feel like if Jesus Christ is your North Star, it really just helps to curb certain wicked and evil behaviors. That's just how I see it. And obviously, I'm a Christian. I always talk from my perspective as a Christian. Caveat. The question was about longevity, but I have to say, I do not think the goal of a relationship is to try to stay together for as long as possible. That can actually keep you in an unhealthy situation for longer than you need to be in that situation. Sometimes it just doesn't work despite all efforts from both parties, and that's very okay. Longevity is good, but I would rather ask God for guidance and for His will to be done in my life and in the relationship, whether it is staying together or separating. Ranisia asks, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Career, marriage, finances, relocation, etc. 5 years. Honestly, Ranisia, for the first time in my life, I don't have a 5-year plan. I don't have a clear vision for exactly what I want for myself in the next 5 years, and I think that's okay. Recently, I've really had to go through a lot of introspection, a lot of revision of what I value in life and what I consider true happiness to be, and I'm still figuring it out. Ranisia also asks, why electrical and not software engineering, since everywhere is IT nowadays? Girl, if I knew then what I know now. But I chose electrical engineering because I just found it a bit more interesting. I mean, even till today, I don't think I want to be a software engineer. But I do know that for the current job market, I need more skills that are typical of software engineers. I don't think you can be an effective engineer these days without coding. We were taught coding in undergrad, but I didn't really take it seriously because I knew I was not a software engineer, so I wouldn't need it as much. But going back for my master's, I literally found myself eyeballs deep in programming and coding. So yeah, that's a tip for any aspiring engineers out there. You cannot escape coding. At this point, it's like learning how to read and write. You need it. S as 3 things on your bucket list are: I would like to fly a plane or a helicopter, one of those smaller aircrafts. Originally, I wanted to be a pilot, but there were just so many barriers when it came to aviation training when I was growing up. So I quickly tossed that dream aside and decided to be an engineer instead. Just today, I was watching this movie, Left Behind, and it's actually a Christian movie, and there was this scene where the main character, the pilot, was trying to land this plane, and I watched that particular scene over and over. I kept rewinding because I was just so in awe of how one person is in command of this large aircraft. There's just something about flying that really fascinates me. Another thing on my bucket list, I don't think I have up to 3 things on my bucket list. I think I seem like a very adventurous person, but I'm really not. So let's just go with the aircraft thing. Uche asks, what are the things that matter most to you in this life? At this point, one thing that I really crave and one thing that I've realized that really matters to me is how I spend my time and how much control I have over my time. Is the one resource that you can never get back. You lose money, you make money. But time, when you lose time, you can never get it back. With the whole thing with growing older, you also tend to appreciate, your relationships more, your family more. And as often as I've tried to just do things on my own and not include God, I know in my heart of hearts, of course, that I cannot go anywhere without holding God's hand like this. I just want to be a good human being, please God, make an impact in this life. And while at it, live comfortably. Why not? Nadej asks, first of all, loving your simplicity in your videos. Secondly, how do you envisage marriage? Is it a dream come true or... First things first, marriage is a partnership. Marriage is definitely not something that I thought was for me, to be honest. Is marriage a dream come true? Man, girl, I don't know. What I have to say about this is I would rather stay single than to be married to the wrong person, than to be married to somebody who doesn't respect me, who doesn't love me, and really treat me like a partner. That's all I have to say about that. I've always been of the mindset, if it happens, great. If it doesn't, fine. I'm going to live my life regardless. Young Jefferson asks, DC or Marvel? I'm going to surprise everybody by this answer. I think I prefer DC. I feel like the DC characters are a bit more complicated, more imperfect. Stephanie asks, do you sometimes feel depressed and demotivated? If yes, how do you cope during this period? Girl, I think this is a whole video on its own. I definitely go through depression and motivation a lot, especially over the last 2 years. Let me see, how do I cope during these periods? I lean on my support system. I talk to people that I think can really understand me, or I can just listen. Sometimes when I talk to people about what I'm going through, it's not so that they do anything about it, it's just so I get it out of me. Recently I've started exercising a lot more, and honestly it makes me feel so much better. I started exercising regularly last November. I've not been as consistent as I would like to be, but even if I don't go to the gym, I make sure that I walk to places. And ever since starting to actively incorporate movement and exercise into my routine or into my life, I have been feeling depressed less often than before. Like I said, I'm a Christian girl. I just try to find some reassuring Bible passages and read, tell God about how I'm feeling. Honestly, this particular issue goes a lot deeper than anything we can cover right now, but I hope this answer is able to give you an idea of, the direction in which I go when these things happen. Uche asks, what pushes you to keep going? Miss Glennis asks, how do you constantly stay motivated? PS, I enjoy your vlogs. I'm usually a very self-motivated person. Recently, I found that I just lost that fire, that spark. And I realized that what I need to keep pushing me is something to look forward to. I need to have concrete goals that I work towards. I need a strong why to be able to do anything. And I realized this when I even think back to even just small arguments that Vincent and I used to have at the beginning of our relationship. He had this thing where he would tell me to do something and I'll ask why. And it really annoyed him because his whole thing was, if I ask you to do something, do it before you ask me why. You just trust me enough to know that there's a good reason why I'm asking you to do this thing. My own perspective was, if I don't know why I'm doing it, I literally have no motivation to do this thing whatsoever. And I cannot just operate in the world for operating sake. I cannot just be doing for doing sake. I mean, Okay, the fact that somebody asked me to do it, maybe that should be motivation enough, but for me, it's never been enough. I've always had to know why. So, what was the question again? Sharia said, tell us something we don't know about you. I am wildly introverted. And I think the common misconception that people have is that introverts are shy people, introverts are socially awkward people. No, I'm not shy. Neither am I socially awkward, or at least I don't think. But I am an introvert by virtue of the fact that interactions drain a lot of my energy. So if I spend all day interacting with people, socializing, I do enjoy it. I enjoy it thoroughly. But by evening, I have nothing more to give. I don't know how to explain it. Say you are exercising and say you are somebody who genuinely loves to exercise. You can do it for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and you're having the time of your life. You're really enjoying yourself. By the 4th hour, your body physically would not have any more energy to keep up with the exercise. You've literally depleted your energy resources, and you would need to go back and rest and maybe eat, replenish what you've used up in your body, and come back the next day and start again. That's literally how it is for me. So yeah, I'm severely introverted. Lionel Love asks, what has recently made you happy? So just like motivation, for me, happiness needs to come from within. It has to be intrinsic. I have to create it for myself. I recently made a very big decision, a very risky decision, which I think is going to make me more happy, especially when we circle back to the things that I said I really value these days. I'm sorry, that's vague, but that's all I have for now. Wow, okay, I'm not even halfway gone through the questions, and I think I'm going to have to split this video into 2 parts. So let's just say this part is part 1. It's a personal Q&A. I got a bit deep, I got a bit personal. I'm going to have to follow up this video with part 2, which will be questions about life in South Africa versus life in Cameroon, and my work and YouTube. So with that, I'm going to bring this video to a close. My mouth is so dry. I'm literally talking and parched. I am parched. But I'm happy that I got to film this video. I'll just jump right there, edit it, and it's going to be up tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed getting up close and personal with me. I hope you enjoyed my humor. Tell me that I'm funny. Tell me. Go down in the comments and tell me that I'm a funny person. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps the channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. And guys, I'm going to see you in the comment. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.